Uh,
I guess we're recording, Gordon.
is recording, Gordon?
Yeah. All right, guys. So this is the first edition of the Freedom 35ers, or CNFT podcast that just some friends in this space kind of learning how to zip and flip and just also just kind of talk and discuss what's going on with the Cardano NFT community. We're all a little bit newer to this. Been a few months in, so we
Super
decided
new.
that, hey, we've been talking about it so much on the side through text, through chat, that we finally decided why not put it online. So we kind of are just getting an intro episode out here, first podcast, first time doing this all together, and just kind of having a conversation together. So just want to open it up. My name's Tommy. I also go by TOMMY on Twitter and Facebook, everywhere else that you can find me. I have Lazy T and also Lavish Bear, and I'll kind of pass a little intro over to them just to give you, learn a little bit about them and pass it back, and we'll get going into this. So Tia, if you want to start us off.
Oh yeah, I'm super new to this for sure. It's only been about a month now. The first drop I even did was a stick frick one. That was the first drop I ever did. Kind of got hooked from Tommy there. He was just talked to me about it. He's been doing it. I just been seeing all the pictures he was getting, some of the ADA he's made from the flips and stuff. And I was like, man, I gotta get in on that because I had Cardano just chilling in a couple of wallets, honestly. And then my second drop was the Claymates, Clay Nation drop, and I ended up getting a pretty rare Claymate. And I got excited about it once I found out it was rare. At first, I was like, I don't know, I'm probably gonna flip it real quick, see what it does. And Tommy had to talk some sense into me to hold on to that thing for a little bit longer, and I'm glad I did for these future drops and collaborations I got coming up. So pretty pumped about that.
Well, yeah. So, and then Tom, how about you? How did you get into this NFT thing?
I mean, well, we all kind of got into crypto, I think, originally in 2016 when everything kind of started taking off and that big run at the end of 2016, and seeing what you were doing with the NFTs. I mean, I heard when they started coming out and it kind of sounded ridiculous at first, and then
What
seeing
is an
some of the
NFT,
stuff,
right?
yeah, like it just didn't make a lot of sense. It was a
Oh, I got
picture
a
online.
JPEG.
Anyone can see it, but only one person owns it. It didn't seem like what the value to that was, if anyone
Can I
could
just
really own it.
copy and paste it? I mean,
Exactly.
really?
Yeah. I right clicked and saved it. It's mine now too. So I don't know why you paid for this. But then seeing some of the things that you had returned, I mean, it's only been about 5 weeks maybe that I've been doing it. And I think you've been about 8 weeks or 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just seeing that early, it kind of fills that void of, for our generation, like Pokemon cards. And it's always something I've been
Oh,
taking
for
fun of,
sure.
and that
That
high
Charizard.
of chasing, opening something new, going for a drop, seeing what you get, opening a booster pack, see what comes out, get that holographic card like TJ's green clay or something, or blue clay. And but it's
Oh,
been a good run so far.
it was funny. It was like we were talking about Safe Moon back in the day. You guys were like, what are you talking about? It's just Bitcoin, Ethereum. What is the Safe Moon coin? And then kind of from there, just kind of spiraled to all these altcoins. And then Tommy went down this rabbit hole of NFTs and Cardano.
Dude.
And just
Yeah,
took off with it.
I feel like, yeah, I'm kind of the
The
Well, you are,
pioneer.
segue, the little gateway drug into this NFT world for everybody in the group of friends that we have. Yeah, like I said, Tom, I think it was actually 2017 that I was looking back at it. We were talking about XRP and trying to get in with our Binance code or sliding our puzzle pieces,
Oh my gosh,
sending our info over
dude.
to the Chinese government, just hoping that we could go ahead and buy this
And
XRP that was 24 cents or whatever it was back then.
pictures of
So
our
we were gonna,
driver's license, front and back,
yeah,
pictures of
just
me holding my driver's license up.
right.
Who am I
So
sending this to?
so we started that out, and that's where that Freedom 35 it was born. We had a text thread between me, Tom, and TJ, all the three of us, and it was originated, I think, from Tom, the Freedom 35. And we held on to that, and we kind of had our few months. Everything kind of died down, and that chat went blank for probably a couple years. Every now and then we may throw a couple, hey, what's going on in the world
Oh,
thing.
Ripple's in the news
XRP's
now,
up 10
right?
cents.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
back down.
Exactly.
And so, and it got resurrected, like TJ said, back in May, or like April, May-ish
March,
of this
April
year
time,
with,
yeah.
yep, with Safe Moon. Was surprisingly, that was the gateway drug to get us back into the NFT world, or sorry, the crypto world. And then from there, like TJ said, I just went down a rabbit hole of just all kinds of Twitter, Discord, everything through there. And somehow I decided at one point I did a little more research, got out of the kind of the shit coin you would call them, crypto, and decided I'm going to go full on and ones that have utility. And Cardano was the one that I settled in.
But
And I
not
think
only that though, too, like you really took on and like you learned it and you were able to teach it back to us. And I'm learning stuff that you're finding out every day. Like for example, today, you're like, dude, delete that. That's a scam right there. Just
Giveaway. Yeah.
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 Don't
The
post that.
giveaways are bad on that, but
Actually,
yeah,
that's
no.
a good question, Tommy. I never actually asked that. When you started doing the research, I know there's only so many cryptos that are in NFTs right now. Was it the price of Cardano that it was accessible to get in early? Because I mean, Ethereum's a little hard to get in if you're trying to just, test the waters and see how everything works. It's a big investment to start off with. So
So when I started this thing, it was just dumb luck a little bit. I think I had texted you guys back in July. The market was really down at that time. I believe XRP was down to like 57 cents in that time. I think Cardano was pushing like $1.11 around that in that area. So I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm dissolving all my coins. I'm moving both in XRP and Cardano. I'm liquidating everything into those two. Those are the two that I believe in right now. And that's what I did. And just happened to, I think I had, like I said, about 1,200 ADA at the time. That's all I had. And dumb luck was on Twitter one day and saw a CNFT. Well, again, I'd been investing for a while, but anyway, it was CNFTs.io. I saw a marketplace for Cardano and I saw NFTs, and I had been seeing a bunch about the Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, all those different things, and looking at them being the same way. Like, what the hell are these things? Like, why are they selling for millions of dollars, thousands of dollars? So I was like, you know what? Let me go take a look at it, and had just happened to find out that it had just launched like 2 weeks prior. I had jumped in the second week of August. So it had just launched, I think, at the end of July, CNFT.io. And I said, screw it. I can connect set my wallet up. I set my Yoroi at the time. I sent the ADA in and had connected. And I decided, you know what? I'm buying a Charmander, Gucci Ball, Pokemon because it looks cool. Like, there's no way that thing's not going to the moon.
It does look cool. I like that one. I think that's a cool one.
And just dumb luck, like you said, I bought it. It went into my Yoroi wallet, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this, but so I had to do a little research and started Googling some stuff and Twittering around, found pool.pm, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And just happened to stumble upon a Cardano bit. And again, it was at the time, you know what, that was birth year right there. I was like, I'm buying the one that has my birth year. That's the one. And purchased my first Cardano bit for, I think it was like 258, which is really high back then. And I was like, what am I doing? And then it became that addiction factor, right? Of just, I gotta have more of these things. Like it's Pokemon. Yeah. And it was like, what's even going on right now? So that was my like addiction into that thing. And I started off with those two. And I think now I'm up to about close to 260 NFTs in my wallet right now after a few months.
You're part of a group of 2,200. I was reading on Twitter. I think it was yesterday. Yeah. Out of the whole Cardano space that have over 200 NFTs, and you're part of that small group. I think that's pretty impressive, honestly.
It's impressive or addictive, I don't know. It's kind of scary to have a lot of my stuff now tied up in there, but I'll be honest, when I first, I used to check the charts every single day. I was going through where are we at. It's just like, reading that technical analysis, like, okay, I swear, like watching YouTube videos, and now everything's an ADA to me. I'm like, I don't care what the price of it is right now. I just know it's going up and down. How much ADA do I have in my wallet?
Exactly.
NFTs. That's kind of where my mindset's been, and it's been so weird. It's been kind of refreshing, but at the same time, it's like, well, what's going? I got Bitcoin's up past 53,000 today. Okay, that means that, hey, we're about to go to the moon. Those kind of things. Like, you get detached a little bit from that, so it is kind of cool to, in that aspect, to not have to worry as much. I don't know, man.
Can we talk about Yoroi for a minute here? I mean, the spending password. If anyone else has gotten screwed on the spending password on your first drop, that was me. I don't remember what drop it was. I went to get it.
That was
where's my spending password?
I hope I'm saying this right. The aeoniumsky. I always call him aeoniumsky. I don't know. It's something like that, but I can never pronounce it right. But his drop of block 6, I believe it was, because I had blocked the block 5 and it sold out instantly at the time. But I think I was using NAMI wallet at that time because Yoroi was getting too slow for me. And even on my NAMI wallet at that time, I got destroyed, got refunded instantly. But TJ, I remember that was your first drop and you came in there and boom, what's my spending password? I'm like, it's sold out, man. like you're done.
I'm like, I can't even get in at this point. I had to make a whole new wallet.
Yeah. I didn't remember making a spending password.
Neither did I. I did it so fast.
I was so, especially because my first drop was Dogs on the Chain because it was only 15 ADA. So I thought this would be a good one to test it out, see how it goes. And also pretty much everything was flipping pretty quick then at that time
Mhm.
for a pretty decent profit. So I was like, let's give it a shot. I mean, when you're on those 10K drops, you guys know how it is. You got copy and paste ready to go. You got all the different
Yeah.
tabs and screens. Your feet are sweating. Like it's, you know, you got the world clock up with the seconds counting down right on the money. Refresh,
got
get that password.
The
Well, I'll
free
say the
throw to
first
win the fucking
password.
game, the game buzzer beater right there. That's how you feel, right? You know,
say the
going
first-
into
I had
those
no
last
idea
10
what the spending
seconds.
password though. It came up and I went blank. Like it was, did I set this? Was this something it gave me? Is it in an email? I had no idea. I just started testing things and I don't know even how I got to it.
Well, then I couldn't even get my seed password right. I wrote it down. I was even asking Tommy, is it left to right? Is it up and down? Like, how is this supposed to be inputted in there when I try to
Yeah.
recover it? And I was like, whatever, I'll just make a whole new wallet, send it from my phone because I'm already signed in to my new wallet. And then that's how I got a new wallet.
Yeah, I think it's a very weird space, and it does kind of give me those vibes of back in 2017 of setting stuff up, right? Like you're jumping in, here's this wallet, you just got to set a spending password, just pray, just don't ever lose that, because if you do, you're never getting anything back.
Yeah,
Like
pretty much.
just hope for the best, and then yeah, just make sure you're gonna paste an address that they're gonna tell you, and you're gonna send this ADA, and it's good, no matter, just guarantee you're gonna get what you need. Otherwise, it's gonna refund you. Just trust. And that was like the extension of where we're at right now. Like no smart contracts, no connecting. There's nobody yet. It has to guarantee that you're going to give you that. It's just full trust right now in this market, which is really crazy that there's such a big following right now prior to the actual marketplaces coming out.
And like you said before, it's like I have a bunch of ADA, like, so it's not like you actually see money or dollar signs that we're used to seeing all of our lives. So we just see ADA and like, oh, okay, it's just like 40 ADA, or I have 250 ADA in my wallet. Like, what does that mean? It's not like I have $500 in my wallet. It's I have 200 ADA or 250 ADA.
258, it sounds like I'm weak. I'm getting low
I
on
know,
funds right now.
right?
But then you look at it, I'm like, hey, I got like $600 in my wallet right now. Like,
I know.
it's like, yeah. Like I always say, like my bank account's looking broke, my wallet, yeah, my ADA wallet's looking rich. You know, that's how it goes right
No,
now.
that crypto wallet's looking nice. My
Rich
my
over here.
account, yeah.
Well, I think there was
Yeah.
an old meme like that where it was a guy at a bar with with two girls, and he's like, I have millions of dollars in Bitcoin. They go, oh, cool. Can you buy us a drink? He goes, no, I don't have real money.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
Well,
I think
Tommy,
even
you've
that though
actually
too.
been in it. That even just it's moving so fast right now for the Cardano side of things, on the Cardano side of things, that even just a couple extra weeks that you've been in it over us and TJ, just a few weeks we've been in it, seeing the difference in, I mean, doing the dogs on the chain drop, the Yoroi wallet had no problems. You know, I'm sure it may have had some lag issues. I know Cardano is still new enough that the transactions still lag a little bit, but to now where Yoroi is almost unusable for a 10K drop.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
you might as well not even try. It's just going to crash. I mean, they all have their issues because of the transactions getting clogged up, but just in the 2 weeks we've seen that where
Oh
wallets are
yeah.
now crashing.
I was gonna say, yeah, the first week and a half or so when I was even doing drops, it was easy. Like I could do it for my car, but in between patients, whatnot, I can get in, no problem. And then I think we really saw the congestion and the you know, the hype of it, of the, what was it, baby alien?
Baby
right?
Alien was the
Alien.
one I remember. It crashed
it
all
really
the wallets, and I was like,
crashed?
I want this because it
Oh,
crashed
I
the
was
wallets.
so
I think that
salty
was the
about
first
that.
10K drop where it just went like that. That was where it was like, oh, hold on, this is real. Now people know about this stuff. And everybody thought it was the next Clays because everybody saw Clays come out. And then the Clays, let's talk about that real quick, because that was kind of like our first like group introduction, I think, with our group itself, was into that NFT drop world. TJ, that's how I think you said your second drop.
The
And for
second one.
me, I had gotten into Claymates actually prior. Again, I started this back in about August 10th, I think was the first time I bought my first NFT. So I'd seen Claymates come in, and I actually was able to mint the Satoshi, not Claymoto, the one with the laser eyes. And I got just a common one out of there's only 150, but it was a race at that time
Honestly,
on
it
their
still looks really
website.
cool. I like that one.
But that was my introduction to Claymates. So I was like, oh, this is cool, you know, like I like this. I dabble. It was like a 200 ADA sale, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm not really. They look like a quality company. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just gonna let it sit. And then Clay Nation came out, and I remember that week where I'm like, oh, Clays are minting this week. They got a 10K drop, guys. We should do this. Like there was no prior research or anything to it other than I know these guys. They're doing a 10K drop. Hey guys, it's 48. This would be a good one for you guys to get into. So I sat there. I think I had a meeting for work at the time, like I was about to go into, so I'd sent 2 transactions right on Yoroi, just back to back, and just prayed for the best, and then was just waiting for him to come through. And I think TJ, you had sent yours in, and another buddy of ours, Liam, he had sent his as well. TJ, you can tell your story about that. Like you got yours, and I looked at it and I was like, yo, a green one?
I know. I was like, is this? I was like, is this a good one? Like when you first get a Pokemon cards, is this a good one? I don't know. I don't know anything about these. I know you knew more about it than I did, and I was like, I don't know, just like a green clay thing with a mohawk. I don't know. Is it good? I don't know.
Yeah,
Should I
I
sell
knew.
it now? Should I hold on to it? What should I do with this thing?
I remember I got the most basic clay. I think it was. It was just a guy with a smile and a hoodie on, and I had another guy with a cat hat, and that was I had gotten those two, and I was like not happy because I saw your green guy, and then I saw Liam who had like the wizard hat, and I was like, my guys are so boring
I
compared
don't
to
know. I
yours.
like
So
the cat hat. I was
I
a
do
big
like the
fan
cat
of
hat a lot. That is
the
like I
cat
do like the cat hat
the
one.
cat hat was dope. And then so just out of dumb luck for me, where my story came in with Clay's was I was at my meeting had finished. It was an hour-long meeting, and I looked through it and I was assuming it was sold out at that point because I'd saw the hype start to build up a little bit. And I decided, you know what, I had the address saved in my Yoroi wallet. I'm gonna send one more 40 transaction on there just to see what happens. And then like 20 minutes later, I see a tweet, oh, we're all sold out, guys. So I fully expected on the way home, I'm driving home from work, that to get a refund. It's taken a little bit, but it's fine. Look in there, I get one more asset, and I open it up. I'm like, oh guys, look, check this out. It looks like my third transaction went through. Just happened to be a blue clay. And come to think of it, now out of the 10K drop, I think I'm ranked like number 203 out of 10,000 on that. And I was just like, ooh, like after
You're still
doing
holding that
research,
one, right?
that's the only one
Oh
I
yeah.
still have. I did paper
Okay.
hand like I think I sold for 240 when it was starting to go up, and then that was a big regret. So I had the other one, and I think I sold it for about 1,000 ADA at the time, only because I needed money at the, I needed
Get
ADA.
some,
You need
yeah.
Ada, of
Need
course,
some
more
liquid.
drops.
So my thought was, you know what, I have the one. I'm never selling that thing until that thing hits 50K, and then maybe more now looking at Spacebudz. But that was
Wait, your
my
third one, Tommy. How long would you have said that was after the drop started that you put
it
in the
was
third transaction?
over an hour.
Can you imagine that now? First
Oh,
of all,
you
can you
would
imagine
it would
trying
have.
to use your Roy wallet to get a clay if they did another 10K
No
drop like
shot.
tomorrow?
I've had
No
to
Let
shot.
alone
remove
an
all my
hour
NFTs.
later?
All my NFTs out of Yoroi is literally unusable for me. If
No,
I
you
try to
can't.
sell something, my app crashes trying to select an asset in there. It is that bad. So I do need to look into other alternative options like Ada Lite or if I've literally have a NAMI wallet for at home and through the work just if in case I need to
Oh,
jump
because you
on
guys
something
keep it
real
mobile.
quick.
You guys want it on your
But
phone. That's right.
but the NAMI wallet isn't
Mm.
non-mobile right now, or at least if there it is, there's probably a way to do it, maybe like a Chrome extension or something. But I don't have it on mobile, so I only have it on the desktops. And then finally, with all the crazy drops going on now, it's almost imperative that you either use NAMI or now Daedalus. Like that is the go-to if you're doing a quick drop.
If you want to get
That
in and be competitive, you pretty much have to be connected to one of those. Otherwise,
oh,
almost not worth the time. You're just going to lose the transaction fee.
yeah, I think that's pretty much the state of the market, right? Like I was there in the beginning when I still kick myself, and it's probably the biggest regret I do have in these CNFTs right now is the fact that I could have bought a Spacebud. They were sitting at 650 ADA, and I almost pressed buy on a generic, just like monkey that one that was just sitting there, no gadgets, no nothing. Almost pressed buy, and I was like, these are kind of boring. I'm gonna, you know what, screw this. Even though they are the first 10K drop, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna buy a Bitpunk. That was my thing. They're the next crypto punks on there early. There's only 133 of them. They were selling for really good money at the time. I'm buying that thing, so I think I bought it for like 899 ADA instead of doing the 650.
Jeez.
Looking back at that, obviously, that was not the right move.
But talk about Spacebuds though. The one that sold yesterday,
million
510,000 ADA. It's over a mil.
first $1
one on
million
Cardano.
CNFT sale.
I think that is that's pretty awesome for
And
the.
it was, I mean, it was the biggest, but one of many, especially for Spacebud sales yesterday. I mean, because before that one, you had sent us, Tommy, the one that had just sold for 400,000. It followed up at 400,000, and then you had
And a
another one at
302.
I
500.
believe there was a couple of the bulls. The bulls had sold for like 200 or 400 or something like that. Or if it was like 2 or 3.
302,880.
Yeah,
302,888 ADA.
really. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then that kind of opened the floodgates, right? Like everybody just started, you know what? I'm buying these things. They aped into those things. And you saw today, like I had posted into the actual NFT like overview of all the different markets. The top, they jumped into the top 24 or something of all the different between Solana and Ethereum. They were Spacebudz actually cracked into the top 25 on that. I think they were number 24, and that's just a testament to show you the power of where Cardano. Again, we just have smart. They're the first marketplace that launched inside of CNFT, a true marketplace with smart contracts. And that is the power of that. And you're seeing, like you said, now the floors for each of these different projects, especially with Clay's announcing their October 31st drop right now for holders of the 10K. Like you saw the floor jump from like a 13, 1400 up to almost 2000 today. You see Yummies right now as well, and they're jumping now from the 280 to almost 400 range. Like everybody is starting to make moves, so it's set a ripple effect off, I think, in this space for sure. And it's we're just getting started, I think.
I mean, it seems like for Spacebudz that, not that they didn't have a great floor already, they're definitely a popular project, but it was the smart contract that really allowed it to solidify those big sales. I mean, it was just fun watching it the other night with you guys. We were on, I think, Monday, and when it was out, and we were able to just see like what people were bidding on them, like the live auctions that were actually in place. And I mean, knowing if you're going to be spending that much money, you're going to be tying up 400,000 ADA on a sale, to know that it's not just going to sit there and maybe get canceled because it's a smart contract, to know it's going to go through without any problems. I mean, that just gives you that confidence to spend $1 million on an NFT. Like it's like we were saying earlier, where there's a lot of trust involved already with sending like money to some wallet and hoping you get something back and not get ripped off. And the smart contracts, I really feel like, push that over the edge to get it to that point.
Yeah, I think we can even dial back into that. I know we're kind of jumping all over the place a little bit, but when it comes to the actual marketplaces themselves, like the CNFT is the first. They are the one, and from what I understand, Steele, he pretty much was a guy with a couple guys with him in the beginning, and they've the demand that they've seen. I haven't even checked the actual volume on there. I can remember when I clicked on the marketplace back in the day when I first was buying. I want to say there was just under 3,000 NFTs on there when I was on there. We are now pushing 322,000. So it is an insane gain right now for the amount just on that platform alone. And they are pretty much were the pioneers, I think, in this space to push the needle forward. So you have Token, which had come out now with their different method of holding the asset and actually allowing that purchaser, as soon as they send the ADA, to initiate that to kind of simulate the smart contract, which has its risk in sending them the NFT. And then now they have, the bidding function and the auction function on their website as well. And now the new marketplace that everybody keeps kind of promoting is the X NFT. And that's going to be kind of more like a truer marketplace. And obviously you have the Spacebudz. I saw news today of Cardano trees, which are a favorite of mine. That they're looking to develop their own marketplace as well, because they're very forward thinking. So I think you're seeing a lot of different good innovation come from CNFT. Again, I think they're a pioneer in this space, and they're always gonna be one of the mains on this. And I hope that they keep pushing everybody forward, because it is cool to kind of see, like I said, it started off here's an address, send it, pray for the best, and hope you get it back. And the day that we can all connect our wallets to this website and buy with our ADA is going to be, I think, when the floodgates will truly open.
Well, and I mean, even CNFT, we've in our short time, we've seen significant improvements. They're constantly upgrading it and working on it. When the Yummi drop happened, it was that day that they implemented the changes they have now, where if you're canceling transactions when people go to buy, they lock your account, they lock the asset, they lock your wallet. So we're even seeing them, they're working on that every day to make it better and improve it. So it's a better experience for us too when you're selling and buying, because especially when you see the floor drop and rise like you do on some of these, where you try to buy in on someone that's paper handing a good project and they're selling way too low, and then they realize that and cancel your transaction without getting it. It definitely is frustrating. So it's good to see them work on that and make that better, so you don't get in those situations.
Yeah, I can imagine. I remember even recently it got to the point, and I think, Tom, you have a story on this, but where it got to the point where bots or whoever it was pretty much taking over and controlling the floors of these prices. As soon as these new drops came out, they had everybody reserving everything, holding them up for 10 minutes, and then would just reload as soon as the timer expired. So people's assets were getting locked and they couldn't even delist. Their stuff was just kind of stuck in limbo, or people couldn't buy what they wanted to buy. And it was artificially raising the floor on some of these things. And then I think, Tom, you have a little quick story on that too.
They were raising and lowering it. I think at least, and this was mainly in the Yummi Discord conversations, where it was big buyers listing and creating a wall at one rate, and then getting people to panic and think that the rate is dropping or the ADA is dropping. So they would think, oh, this is about to tank, like we had seen Baby Aliens do, where it went from 200 ADA immediately to you know, they were selling for 50,
Like,
60.
yep.
So people were afraid. They're like, oh, wow, this is now dropping from 200. I better get out of this right now before it tanks all the way down to 40 and I can't sell it. So these people started listing it really low, and then the big buyers were buying them up cheap. And now it's, I mean, I think Yummi's back up to 370, 380. It's been bouncing around between 350 and almost 400 all day. So they were getting those, picking those up at 120 because people were panicking, thinking that the floor was dropping out, and the steel actually came in, because I know he has the I don't know the name of it, the Fire Yummy though, the one that he bought for I think 50,000 or 60,000 ADA. It was like the one of the first sales I think for Yummy, and the biggest one. I think it's still the biggest too. I know there's a top 5 they have on their list.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was him or the Necromancer one or the
I think
I
he has
can't
the
remember.
Knight, and then Stale has the
Then
Fire guy.
yep.
And but yeah, he came in and saw that. He saw what was going on in the market, and how, I mean, also just people were losing out because they were panicking, thinking that something was happening that was not happening. And he came in and put those, he said, give me an hour, guys. We're going to put some rules into place here where you guys can't keep delisting. If someone clicks buy and you don't sell, your account's locked for 24 hours. The asset is, you can't change your wallet. So it's cool seeing him actually come in and interact. And I mean, he definitely believes in that project, obviously from
Oh, yeah.
purchasing one, but also just trying to protect the market and seeing that something like that, you know, recognizing that it's happening and that he could fix it and take an action was cool to see that.
Right. It's like real people's money, essentially. Like you can't just, oh, I don't want to sell it to you now because I know it's gonna go up more. So you know I'm gonna cancel it, even though you're about to send it to me. I think that was a cool move to do.
Well, the bots too were huge because, like Tommy
Yeah.
said, that was a big problem where they were creating I mean, if you had enough ADA, you could create the floor yourself, or manipulate it so easily with the bots by locking people up and then putting yours for what price you wanted it.
Well, that's what we were talking about too. Like, why would you mint something for, let's say, 40 and then literally later list it for 8 ADA and then you made the floor like 8? Why would you do that? I don't ever understand when people do that. It's just blows my mind.
I can see. I got an early story back on. I was around when the DEADPXLZ did their first, which they've gone incredible this past few weeks on their growth. But I was, when they were minting on their website, they were minting, I think it was 35 ADA for a signed transaction. You had to. That's why I created a NAMI wallet in the first place, was because of them, and you had connected your wallet to the website. It was 35 ADA, I think, to buy one, and you could also, what they had an insta buy on that too for 40 ADA at the time. So instead of having to type your password and sign it, and, you know, when you click buy, somebody who had an insta buy could just jump ahead of you, and you could skip your time that it took to go ahead and put your password and stuff in. And they would buy them for 35, 40 ADA, and then you'd see them on the CNFT marketplace for about the same price, about 30 ADA on there, when even down to like 26 or something like that. I saw a few, and it was people trying to buy back in because their drop was buy to move to the next forward to get closer and closer to the rare ones. It was basically all in a line. So what people would do is, if they didn't really want that one, they would throw it to the market and just let somebody eat it up at floor price there to make their money back to be able to buy for a future drop. And that's kind of what I see a lot happening now, even in some respects. So if you do see people, why are they selling for mint price? It's because they didn't get what they wanted, didn't get that rare drop. They want to get out of the project and move on. And
the mint price makes sense to me. It's when you list lower than the mint. That's what I like. I don't get that. Like, why would you do that? You spent X amount of money for it. Now you're going to drop it significantly lower to like 8 from 40 it cost you.
Like I was telling Tom today, we had that guy bought a 2750 for a DEADPXL, sold it for $2,000, and it's like, he must need some making too much for his taxes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
he needs a loss.
The only thing I can think of, I don't know why he would do this, or maybe just show the sale that way. Maybe if it was his own wallet, right? So he took his Yoroi wallet for 2750, sold it, and he bought it with his data list for 2,000, and it looked like someone just sold it for lower than what they paid for.
I think like in order to do market manipulation like that, I feel like he'd have to do that in a group effort. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many different reasons for people needing to sell. The guy could have had an emergency and he wasn't going to sell it at the price he bought it for, so he just dumped it to $2,000 and somebody could pick it up. You never know. Like I see that happen a lot with people too, where it's like, wow, why the hell did that sell go like that? And then you don't know what they had going on. But yeah, I know. So that was, some of the big things I think that kind of happen this week. And then I think another thing that we're seeing gearing up, which is kind of cool for me or I guess everybody in this whole NFT space, because you think back, even the Bored Apes and all those guys, they were back around in like May of this year, April, May, somewhere in that time, I believe. So this is the first like calendar year with all the seasons for these NFTs. So you're seeing now like it's the huge Halloween push. That's the first major of these holidays. So you're seeing everybody and anybody right now, Halloween airdrop. They're theming it, they're doing whatever. And you saw today, like you said, with Clays, if you're an owner of the Clay Nation, happen to get in, they did a really good quality drop of 300 different attributes and different rarities. So it's not just a set cookie cutter, like if you buy this is what you get. It's, hey, there's going to be a whole rarity table made from those attributes and different drops.
I
And
know,
on
I'm
top of
pumped
that,
for that one.
that automatically right there. So now you see everybody scrambling to get another Clay just because
I'm totally pumped too. I got a Clay, so
Yeah.
I'm all on board. I'm excited for sure. Yeah.
I know that's the one Tom's little. I got a couple of our buddies who didn't make it in, and obviously that one is
I
one
was
that
just
would.
watching on that one. I was like, yeah, that'd be like my whole wallet. I'm gonna start a little lower. I'm just still
Mhm.
dipping my feet in, and then it was like, oh, cool. They're worth 4,000 ADA now. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But we did point you into the right direction on Yummy. So you do hold a
that
Yummy,
one
which
worked
is
well. Yep, Yummy's was
yeah.
great. Well, I was gonna say, just seeing, you were talking about the floor, TJ, about how I would, some people, even if the floor is 100, instead of listing 99, they list for 75, something
I
like that.
know.
You see that, like, you'll see a 25 gap, and maybe they do just need to really sell fast, but it is something nice you see. Yummy's pretty good about it. I'm sure I know the tree Discord's active. I'm not in the Clay
Tree
one
cord.
because I don't have one, but same thing where even the Discords come together where they, Yummy has been actively trying to continuously sweep the floor. And even today, they got under 2,000 total listed on CNFT, where yesterday, I want to say they were at like 33 or 3,200. So, I mean,
Mhm.
people are really, we've been seeing a surge, people wanting to get in, but just getting those delisted and bought up so that there's been less available. And then when the demand increases, you can continuously increase your price. And if there's more demand and there's not as many for sale, you
Well,
kind of get to set the price.
I think that's
Exactly.
what we're starting to see with these projects right now is the utility factor. Like, right, what's everybody says roadmap, they slap video game, they slap whatever other big sticker thing, royalties. Those are all the famous keywords right now when it comes to making a new NFT drop, right? And the animal and profile picture, that seems to be the thing today. But when you find utilities, and I think what really makes some of these projects like Yummy, like Clays, like all this, the actual airdrops to the blue chip projects are the utility that they offer in their drops. Like right now, you can see that Yummy right now is doing a few different variations for only 5 ADA. So it's like they're one per transaction, so up until 10,000 of them right now. So you can see that right now, as long as you're a Yummy holder, it's good to be a Yummy holder because they're in high demand, and what they're doing is requires that access into that club to get there. So you're seeing that floor is being risen because they're giving value to their NFTs. So they don't need to drop a new 10K set every few months. They may go ahead and say, here, airdrop or exclusive access to their holders. So it makes you feel like you're part of that club. And I think the one who's obviously executed that the best right now has been the Bored Apes and what they've done with the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, of giving them the original holders that serum to go ahead and mutate their apes for free. And then the floor on that is still like 3 point something ETH right now, just on the
It's
Mutant Apes.
crazy.
So, but they're an example of where good projects and how they can add utility and feeling like they're that part of that special club. I think that's really what NFTs are for me. It's starting to kind of get into. Obviously, we're in it for we're all here to make money. I think at the end of the day, but it's also started to develop more into like a collection for me as well, and an exclusive club joining these. I was been on Twitter since 2011. I think I sent a tweet the last time maybe 4 years ago until these past 2 months. I've been wiped everything clean. My whole Twitter has now become my NFT world, and that's strictly all I follow on there. And it's been my mind's been wrapped into that little world.
Yeah,
But
I'd say you're a bit of a collector now with over 200, you said, right?
yeah, but just not even that, the Discords, like all that stuff. I was never as active as I was, but I feel like this community is kind of something cool to get into because we are at that ground level still. So it is kind of cool to see it develop and be a part of it, especially now.
No,
And
you get recognized by a lot of artists and groups on here. I see it all the time on Twitter. Like they like your stuff, they retweet it, or it's not just one group, it's the multiple NFT teams that have been shouting you out
right.
or talking to you, which I think is pretty awesome.
I think it's just about engagement too. Like you praise like a lot of this artwork and the stuff that these guys have put a lot of work into. Like some of this, obviously there's a huge demand for it because you see these things sell out. but it's also just interacting with them too, and it's then not just always be like the worshiping kind of weird, like, oh my god, thank you so much kind of thing, but it's like, hey man, that was a pretty cool job, I appreciate you doing that, like just something nice like that. And because again, at the end of the day, these guys are probably young dudes too, some of these people, and they're just like out here trying to make their dream come true as well, some of these artists. So as long as you interact, and I think that's like the big part of this, is that people do interact on these communities. So it goes a long way, I think, on the Twitter, Discord, all that stuff, just to say, hey man, thanks, or appreciate it, or give them a like on that.
Well, even more, that goes back to how early we are into, you know, Cardano's NFTs, that you can interact, and it's not like, I mean, you can tweet anyone, but they're going to respond, and you can actually, you know, get engagement with them. They come in the Discords, not only their own Discord, just moderating it, but they are in other projects' Discords too, that they're actually a part of and buying into and interacting with. And they're not just marketing on Twitter, you know what I mean? They're actually a part of the community and get involved, and it's cool to see that.
Oh, I think the biggest one that's really fun to watch right now, obviously, is the partnership that's developed between Good Charlotte and Claymates right now, which is a really wild and random partnership. But I didn't really realize that too. You know, that band is so into Cardano and that space, and the fact that they've already partnered with Clays in respect to that is a huge opportunity and marketplace and kind of jump for Cardano NFTs just in general. The fact that, you know, these guys have already put their stamp into this world, and it's starting to grow is really crazy. But the fact you can actually interact with them on Twitter too. These guys go back and forth with some of these, you know, just regular people on Twitter, and it's all in relation to, hey, I like this NFT, you like it too, cool, let's talk about it. And it was kind of funny too, just off that story. I think the Yummies, or one of those was I forget which drop. It might have been Yummy's. So it was one of those big drops, and I think Joel McCadden from Good Charlotte was actually like, I didn't get one, I missed out on this one. And it was kind of funny just to see like, oh, I got it. And then like a big celebrity's like, no, I missed that one, I didn't get it. That sucks. Like, I feel that pain right now. I used Yoroi on this and I missed the drop today. So it's kind of cool to see that and that aspect.
Well, just yesterday, man, we saw it, or Monday, I think you were reading it, Tommy, and we were talking on Discord that Reese Witherspoon bought her first NFT.
I saw that.
Yeah,
she
right.
tweeted that, and a bunch of people from the Cardano side were I
like,
think,
yo, come here,
sending her projects. Yeah, they were, you know, tagging projects in that tweet to, you know, hey, check this out. We're trying to get into it, especially some of these big and up and coming ones. It's good to get in. I mean, these are easy to get in early on.
I know the Clay community really were trying to find a Claymate that looked like her in one of her videos. I think someone did find one, and one would have like pigtails, like this and stuff. And they just sent it to like, oh, I found your Claymate, you should buy it, type of thing. They sent it to us to get involved in the community.
It is crazy where NFTs are like the community it's attracting right now. I know Snoop Dogg's like huge in NFTs, his own game and stuff like that. It's the celebrities all with the Bored Apes. Like I was saying, I'm a big Linkin Park fan. Mike Shinoda has a Bored Ape as his profile picture. That's how I found him actually on there. For some reason, I wasn't following him. Find out he mints his own stuff on Tezos. Like, it draws his own artwork. It's like it's spreading like wildfire to the people who know about it, but to the outside world, they still have no clue yet. And I think that's what's really fun about where we're at right now on this, because I truly believe Cardano is going to push the NFT world forward, and it's going to attract a lot more people into just Cardano and crypto in general because of the low fees over here compared to Ethereum right now. It is insane trying to mint over there right now.
Well, I saw something they were trying to do an NFT legit art show in Europe somewhere, that they were actually going to showcase some of the art that we see online here, but actually like in the frames of an art studio, which I thought was pretty cool.
I've seen the NFT. They've like make monitors. They make you know, for Cardano trees, which is a huge favorite of mine. Of, you know, it lives on the blockchain. It's not just a static image that you look when you click on the thing on the marketplace. I can't tell you how many times when I've introduced people, they're like, what the hell is the appeal to these things? They just look like stick figure like drawings. Why are people paying thousands of ADA for this stuff? And it's like, no, you got to go into Pool PM and look at it on the actual blockchain, because it's living art. It changes throughout the seasons, throughout the night and day. It's living on that stuff. And that is something cool where you could have your block, you know, that up on a monitor, and it's constantly changing. That's kind of where that feature of some of this stuff is going. And some of these people have no clue yet.
Well, it's like the refresh. It changes every time. It's not the same thing.
For the trees, I was right there, Tommy, when you were first starting and showing these to us before we actually decided to give it a shot, when we were like, Tommy's about to lose all his money. It's going to be a problem. Like, you sound like a picture of Charmander. It's like, yeah, it looks cool, man, but I mean, you just
Unless
bought a
spending 48
Charmander like on
on
your
it.
computer. I don't. Cool.
Right.
And then you sent the picture of the tree, and for the trees, they're main. It's like the refresh too, where if you look at refresh, it just says refresh, right? Until you
Right.
actually open it up. The tree was similar. The tree, they all have that same basic template. And I was like, I mean, I just thought it was popular because it was one of the early ones. I could not understand why it was so expensive. And then you're like,
Right.
did you click on any of them and open them up? And they got weather effects, the leaves are falling, the
Yeah,
seasons
I think that
changing.
is
I was like,
actually a
oh, this
really
is
cool. It's very in
way
depth with
more than
that
I
one.
thought. I just thought this
Uh,
was a circle with like
Yeah.
lightning bolts going through it.
It's crazy where they're so early on that stuff, and there's some of these guys that are like very, very in depth when it comes to the coding and what they're going to be able to do with that stuff. Again, I know the trees just threw out an idea as far as doing almost add-ons to the tree, whether it be for seasons or different things to add on to that tree itself, which would be kind of crazy if they're able to pull that stuff off. And I think
Christmas
that
trees, Christmas ornaments.
they might be able to do
I
that,
see it.
whatever it may
Yeah.
be, but they're looking at doing something along those lines. So the add-ons to that is really crazy. And then the other one, which I still need to do way more research on, but it was another one that I knew was going to be a big project, was the unsigned algorithms, or Unsigs as they go by. And those, again, there's 31,000 of those things, and that floor is sitting around like 900 ADA right now, which there's a reason that stuff's sitting there. And I know that stuff's built into the blockchain as well. And there's a lot more to that. And on the research side that I can't speak enough about on, but that's part of the reason of how I got into my portfolio the way it was now. It's all derivatives of our different artists from Unsigs. And like I said, I think the ones that I got you into in the beginning, where it was artist named Artaphakt. That was the first guy that I found, and he did these moshes to the Unsigs, and they were way more on my entry level price point at 30 ADA versus at the time I think Unsigs were pushing like 300-400 ADA back when I was into it. I was like, I'm not spending that on this, but I like this one. It looks cooler. I'm gonna buy it. And then that led me into a whole different world of different artists that use these Unsigs to change the images of them and make cool art out of them. And that put me in a whole different sector and started getting me in that interaction. That eventually led me to say, you know what, I'm all in. Let me buy one of these Unsigs. I have to. I know it's going to be a big thing down the line. So it's kind of cool. There's like different niches in the Cardano community. You got their profile pictures, you got your actual art, you got your AI inspired art, you have, different projects like the Unsigs that are actually built onto the blockchain and Cardano trees. There's so many different routes that people can take inside of here. It's something for everybody, I think, which is really cool.
Well, and then you were explaining this a little more because the Unsigs were ones you had been into already before me and TJ got in. There's a few artists that produce art that they call Unsig, or how does that
Yeah,
work? I see
there's
that word
there's
used,
so
but
many there's so
there is
many of
then.
them, man.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
so many of these guys that are out there that use that artwork and manipulate it and find their own things. Like I said, I was telling you, the background that I have is from Artaphakt actually, and a guy named Resigned, or he does the Resigs. And I actually won an auction, like I said, a few weeks ago on that, and bid out. They did the first collab combo, and he took pretty much Artaphakt, took an Unsig, modified it into a mosh of his own, and then the Resig was developed from his Unsig mosh, and they pretty much combined the two together, and it all stemmed from one of those Unsigs, which I think if I'm able to mess around with it right now, you can actually see the background on that right now, which is I think this one's called Refactored, which is the
It's so cool.
Resig.
That kaleidoscope.
And then this is from Artaphakt right there, which is all derived, which it's a really cool thing that these guys do. So yeah, I got my little niche of my community that I like to be in on that side, but I also have the profile pics like the Yummies, the Clays, even what we have now, we have Mutant Crocs. We have all these different things that have been minted. So there's a little bit of something on. I like being spread out throughout the community, and it's kind of cool to find different projects like that. But yeah, Unsigs are. I know that he's working on I think the guy's name is Monad Alexander or something on Twitter. He's the creator of the Unsigs, and he's working on a version 2 right now, which is more geometry based, I think. And apparently it's going to be airdropped to all the holders of Unsigs. And then obviously maybe on sale, I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening in this space right now. And then I think we can kind of, for segue of time where we're at right now, I think you guys want to start anything that you guys are looking forward to this upcoming thing, or any projects that has got you guys excited right now?
Honestly, the Claymate one for me is the one I'm really excited for, because I know it's exclusive, and I have 24 hours to get it. Right. I don't
Right.
have to worry about like stressing about putting the address in, use my role. I can just come home from work whenever I can get it in. I get it in. I guarantee to get a drop. So I'm pretty excited about that one, the 31st.
Yeah, it takes away that stress, right? And then
Yes.
there's a stipulation to that though, too, right? Like there, you have to hold that for in that wallet that you're minting from. It's only 1 mint per wallet of each clay that you hold. And I think it's 48 hours prior. They take a snapshot of all the wallets and tell you how many mints you can do. Because my thought originally was like, oh, what if I just swap it from one wallet to the next and buy? And I was like, I'll just get a bunch of these. And then obviously they're way ahead of that.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was looking at someone tweeted like, oh, I wish I could rent my NFT or my clay so someone else, because he had a bunch of them. It's like, I wish I could just rent it out.
Yeah,
to give to somebody.
They do that though on Ethereum side. I know the Bored Apes or something somewhere in those range. They do rent their NFTs out to people over time. So it's like a passive income thing too. It's not just a profile picture. It is a legit like investment for some of these people that can make passive income off it, which is crazy.
I would just wonder how would you rent that? Like to know for sure you're going to get it back.
It would be for through smart contracts. It would be hey, you are renting this from this month to this month or however, whatever set date it is. And this is the price. It gives you like a fixed price or whatever. And you pay that up front and then your contract expires on that date and it gets transferred automatically back to the wallet, the original wallet.
I like that.
I'm sure there's other shit that I have no idea about, but I'm assuming that's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
I just take into his account real quick the Cardano space. They sold out recently. They're 10,000 they're basically like a real estate plot. And they sell them in 1x1 grids, or you could have bought more, more and more. Some of the bigger ones advertise pretty well on that, but it's essentially digital plots of land. And they sold them in places so you could add your pictures into them. And some of the people who bought the big grids, like the 9x9s and even bigger, they just slapped all their NFTs, made one giant picture, and then they can link whatever they wanted to it. And some people are like, rent here. And so I think that will be a thing down the line. They'll have digital space on this land to go ahead and rent it out to people or advertise on there because you can click their links. And then I think to take it further, the Cardano space had different traits built into those plot spaces. So some of them do like effects and like widen or grow bigger if you hover over them. So there's definitely different aspects into that, where that digital real estate is going to become a thing. I think one of the ones that I didn't really talk to you guys about, which I minted on, I think they're still minting, is one called Pavia right now, Pavia, and they are at 29,000. They're almost like I forget what the name. There's two of them right now, like the Decentraland, and there's another one that pretty much are like the open metaverse, and they're selling plots right now as well for 39 ADA. So that I think that's another option that people should be looking at too, is this digital real estate land right now.
Yeah. There is one that I'm kind of looking forward to too. It's the Camel Club. And I mean, it's those cartoon ones. You're like, I'm going to try to do a little more research before I just dive into those ones, because there's a couple, in a sense, rug pulls or just questionable stuff going on with the cartoon looking NFTs that have been coming out.
Yes. The ones that are a little bit more 10,000 drops. It's a base picture, and then they just kind of swap out the clothes,
right,
and the attributes, but they're not as I guess artistic or in depth or detailed as the clays seem to be. I mean, the Yummies are a little more simpler, but still.
But it's weird. Those ones capture me though. I really like those.
You can just tell they're looking at.
There's a reason they're appealing, dude.
They're drawn or handmade on the computer. You can just tell looking at it because nothing else really looks like that,
Yeah. Well,
so the Camel, I think they just recently announced the actual date too.
They did, yeah. They have actual. I'm in the pre-sale,
put the date up. Okay,
and then they have the actual date. So the pre-sale is the 25th, and the actual sale of it's the 26th. And they look honestly pretty in depth. Some of the stuff they have, the traits, the rarities on, I should say. Again, this is another one that reminds me of the Bored Ape Club, where so they have different features like that, very similar, but it's a camel instead of an ape. They just look just different and cool to me.
I saw that robot one with like the hump and the laser eye and all kinds of stuff, and I was like, that looks pretty cool. But again, I'm like, I've been kind of a little cautious on these 10K profile pick ones, because I've been burnt out just like everybody else on these. And so I'm sitting there like kind of cautious. I did the Mutant Crocs like with you guys, and they didn't sell out their drop, but they're looking to help reward, and they are on that is original, and it's something different. I think just it's the state of the market right now. It's tough to release a 10K drop without a bunch of hype behind you or a big support base, because everybody seems to want to be in our world zip and flipping these things,
Yeah.
just for some ADA. But Tom, what about you? What do you got coming up that you're looking forward to, or things?
I was actually going to ask, I like how Clay sounds like they're handling their Halloween drop. I know, Tommy, we were talking about the Yummi one, because they're doing their, the Spoopy? I think they call it.
Yeah, the
Spoopy. Yeah,
spoofy special or whatever it is. Yeah.
They're doing theirs a little different, where again, it's exclusive to holders of Yummi, but I'd have to pull up all the details. I remember you had a little more detail on that.
It's a one of one. It's a one. All you have to do is hold a Yummi in your wallet, and you can. It doesn't matter how many you hold, and it's not limited. You can buy as many as you can get in the 10,000 transaction. So there is obviously going to be a time limit on it because people are going to go quick, but you can only mint one per transaction. So if it's overloaded, you may only get a few off. That's where you might want to load up that dataless wallet with a few 5 different ADAs in there and just spam to get what you want. Because I do think there's at least, I think I saw 4 different variations in there. So I'm sure there will be some sort of like go-to one that people want out of that drop. So theirs is definitely a little different. And it doesn't necessarily guarantee you of getting an NFT. I mean, you should be okay for the most part, because if you're there at the launch time, but if you wait hours upon hours, you may miss out on that.
You don't have 48 hours, not like the Clay. Yeah, you can.
You have 24 hours on the Clay. Yeah, you have 24 hours for Clay on the third.
You don't have that on the Yummi, I doubt. And it's only 5.8 on that one too, because the Clay is
apparently it's a little less. It's 5 to send, but I think they send you back 2 ADA with your NFT. So it's really like
Clay is going to be like a full price drop, right?
50 ADA, yes.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's I'm excited for that for Yummi, not only just to get another one and be a part of like my second stage of a drop project, but I mean, just seeing what it's doing to the value is exciting to see.
Yeah.
Just seeing that there's utility now, there's a reason why people want to have them more than just hype. It actually is going to get you something that could also have value in itself. So I mean, just seeing what it's done to the floor today, it's Yummi was doing pretty well, holding around 250, but today with everything else too, after we saw those big sales on Spacebudz yesterday, but with all these Halloween drops, we're seeing the floors just steadily creep up and then start holding at a good rate.
Loving it.
Yeah, I can imagine with all these seasons coming up here with Thanksgiving and also Christmas coming up, we're gonna see a lot of these different airdrops, different themed releases, and it's going to incentivize holders of these different projects to go ahead and grab one just for the fact of getting in. And like we were doubling back to a little while ago, the fact that we're in this first season of NFTs with these actual seasons here, I think that's just going to it'll be a kind of cool base level to be in on that first year of all these different drops, and it's to see in the coming years what these people are going to do. And then yeah, just for me as well, as far as anything kind of coming up, obviously I'm excited for the Clays. I'm excited for Yummi for those kind of drops. I think another one which we were talking about, which prior to this I was in their whitelist sale. I don't know if I can share the screen right now, if it'll pop through. Let's see. Can you guys see the screen right now?
Yes.
So Vudu Brigada is another one which kind of taps into my Clay world right now, but these things are super unique looking to me as well, and I believe now that they're dropping now on October 27th. So that's another one of mine that I'm kind of whitelisted in. First whitelist I think that I'm on one of these, but these are kind of exciting to see this artwork. It reminds me of the Clays.
I like that,
but at the same time they're somewhat different. So this is one I've got my eye on for sure right now, just getting ready to. And then beyond this, going into, I still think they're in December-ish right now. But this is another big one through the community. It's run by Fadukin and a few other different artists, but the EquineNFT, this is going to be a gaming NFT where you have an actual jockey, you have an actual horse. The horse lives on the blockchain, it ages and eventually dies, and then it remints a new one. So I think this December of 2021 is another one that I'm really kind of eyeing here towards the future.
That's a big one. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, got 1,600 followers already. That's crazy.
Yeah. They're definitely, I think, going to be one of the bigger projects that are going out here, and it's cool because it's also created through the community. And another one which I think I can shout out is another guy another Discord that I'm in is for Lovelace CNFT, but he's doing a project right here with the called Adanauts, which I did a promo token. I think I sent you guys these a while back. But if you minted promo 1 and 2, you got early access into his Adanauts launch. So he does awesome giveaways, and he has his own stake pool and rewards his people that go inside of his Discord and does airdrops to them. I think he dropped me Cardano trees for a little bit. Like they do some cool things. So that's another one that I'm looking forward to as well. Out here in the next few weeks. Hopefully they're releasing something here as well. But yeah, those are some of the big ones that I've got my eye on, and I'm sure there's going to be. I've been burnt this past week. I think I've been jumping into every single project now for the past 2 months, almost trying to at least.
Well, this past Friday, it was like crazy. Like, was it 4 or 5 drops that happened?
Friday and Saturday. Yeah.
Friday was exhausting
gosh,
last week of all the different things. I think if I go back, because we've got our own Discord now. This has evolved. I guess kind of to wind this podcast down for the sake of time for us is just kind of where we're at now currently with what we got going on. And so it kind of started off, like we said, with the Freedom 35 group chat. That's kind of where we got into this, and then it evolved into, hey, we talk about this every single day now, every single week through text. Why not talk about it in podcast? And I think we have some of our other friends and people we'd like to bring in here eventually and get introduced to the community. And hopefully one day, be able to bring some of these artists and some of these other community members in and try to turn this into something. So I think ending on that kind of a note, Tom, TJ, you got anything else that you guys kind of want to put in?
No, I'm just excited for this community, the Cardano community and the NFT world, and I'm just excited to see where it goes. I think you touched on this earlier too. You were saying that it was about making money, or it is, but it's also, I'm starting to enjoy the art a lot more of these different teams and groups of these artists that I'm really starting to just enjoy what they have to put out there. So I think I'm just excited to see what other new creators are going to be coming up soon. So looking forward to that.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it, how many drops we saw this weekend, and how, not only burns us out some, but I mean, I think we've seen it even some in the Cardano community itself, because I mean, how many drops were there, not only on the weekend, but just last week too, that for whatever reason it may have been, didn't actually complete its 10,000, where they were only able to sell, a third or half of those, and either had to decide to burn some of them or keep the other ones for releases. So it's definitely, you're seeing people that are some of the hype that everyone was getting in on 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, then led to these other projects where they were not really panning out, and people are kind of now smartening up, and you're seeing the stronger, more quality projects really hold, which is nice to see, kind of weeding out these projects that were quick cash grabs, and just quick projects where people thought they could zip and flip them, but they just ended up getting, now they're just holding a picture that's worth floor price on CNFT. So that's why these next couple months will be exciting, especially after seeing the sales yesterday, and then the floor prices today, and how well the market's doing, even with Cardano going down some. I mean, it's not been significant, but it's not, it's gone down a little bit in the past 2 days, and we've seen the floors increase, which significantly more than it would offset just the drop in the Cardano. They've gone up way more than that price has gone down. So that's cool to see that these projects are going strong even when the price goes down in Cardano. So, I mean, Halloween's going to be one thing, because I'm a big fan of Halloween. So these will be some cool drops, but then seeing what comes in Christmas and stuff like that, and especially how creative some of these guys are with these projects, and seeing what they come up with and the things they can do on the blockchain will be cool to see for Christmas.
And I think that, just the touch base, is back again. Smart contracts dropped on September 12th. It's been about literally a month now since that's happened, and you're just now seeing the first marketplace being developed out here. So I can only imagine what 4 months, 5 months from now is going to look like on there as we get established smart contract marketplaces. It is going to bring in those ETH buyers, those Solana buyers over here, because they can actually download and connect their wallet, and they're not having to kind of be sketched about, what do I do? We see that all the time now. We're vets, and now when it comes to these drops, but you see these guys coming from Ethereum and Solana, and they're like, So where do I go to, I have my wallet, where do I send this and it just comes back to me? They have no clue what the process is over here. So like I said, it's a wild west over here on CNFTs, but in the next few months, I think it's going to grow significantly. And you can even see, like, I think I showed a stat today from for the Bored Apes 4 months ago, their floor was sitting at like 3.8 Ethereum, and now we're sitting towards more like the 38, 40,
I think,
40.
38 it was, yeah.
Ethereum, and that's in 4 months time, man. And
Which is almost as long as CNFTs have been out entirely, right? I mean, what Spacebudz was
no, not
May?
even. No, I mean,
Yeah.
technically, yeah, those guys were some of the first to mint out there. And I
Mhm.
know the Berry Pool was the first, something like we were talking about the other night, the first NFTs that were minted out in Cardano. And there's been a whole set of drops like Cardano Bits. That was one of the first ones. I actually hold a Collabs as well, which is one of the first 100 different artists that did a tribute to Cardano Bits back in that time frame of like April, May area. And they were doing stuff on Google Docs sheets. That was how they were doing their drops back then. So they've come a long way to even see from where we are today. I actually saw a screenshot of someone had posted of the Google like sheets, like the actual Excel file for all the different
That's
drops.
wild. I did
for
not
the
know
pool.
that.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's come a long way to even see it from there. So again, technically with the marketplace launching, I mean, you're not even 2 months into it right now, 2.5 months into it.
Just gonna keep
So
getting better and better and stronger and stronger.
Still
Then more people
early.
too getting in when they see, just hearing about it on Twitter,
oh yeah,
and community growing and get more people and more money in.
there's going to be a bunch of new projects and new things that emerge from all this stuff. And like you said, you're going to have your quality projects like the Clays, like Yummies, like Unsigs, Spacebudz. All those guys are going to Cardano trees. All those guys are going to continue to grow and build their base, and they're going to introduce new people into this. And I think that confidence in those big projects and those high sales will, propel Cardano and their NFTs into that next wave and that next movement of these NFTs. Because again, I don't know if I sent you guys the link to Coinbase. Actually has an NFT waitlist that's going on right now.
I got that email today, actually.
I saw a stat, I don't know how accurate it was, that there was more signups on that waitlist than there are wallets on OpenSea right now, which is a crazy sign of where this thing's going.
And I think they invested 200 or 250 million into developing their NFT space or something like that. Like they were putting real money into it.
Oh, who sent us the link? We saw even XRP is looking to get in.
That was me.
Everybody's NFT is the next
world.
movement, and I think someone said it best that that NFTs will propel the modern day person into crypto. That is going to be their entry point is through NFTs if they're not already in it. So yeah, man. So I think well,
just one more thing you're saying, Tommy. I mean, the projects and the creators that they're the quality projects, seeing them move forward, but how well, I mean, especially if you're active on Discord and even more Twitter, that they all promote each other and uplift each other. The collaborations we're seeing right now between a lot of the artists, how they all work together. It's not really a competition. They're not, trying to beat the other ones out. Yeah, they're not trying to fight. It's not like, it's not Pepsi versus Coke. They're all on the same team, and it's all the same community and same space. And that's been nice to see too. Because then when you see one succeed and one, I mean, it's almost like when you see Bitcoin increase its price and Bitcoin goes up a significant amount, you see the other ones follow, Ethereum's up, XRP's up that day. They all have nice little bumps. And we're somewhat seeing that now even. I mean, we see these big sales. We do have the Halloween drops helping, but we see the big sales in Spacebudz, and all these floors are up today. Everything's kind of just been acting positive on the market off of that. So everything kind of bounces off itself. And I like that, especially when it's something that's positive, like all these guys working together.
Yeah, I agree. It is like everybody's kind of that collective in that little group of a special group of people right now that is we all know we're early right now, and we keep hearing that we're early. And I think some people are like, I don't know, are we early? Is it a bubble, or where are we at? And then you see something like yesterday or the day before when $1 million sale hits and the market goes crazy. Like that just kind of reaffirms like, yeah, we're still here.
It's Wild West.
Yeah, right. So I think with that, we'll kind of wrap this thing up for first podcast.
That was great.
Freedom 35ers, boys. This is a start.
First one of many.
Start for us over here as well, and we're looking forward to getting some of our friends and just hopefully some other guests and artists.
For sure, exciting times.
Absolutely.
Lot, and we'll see how early. Definitely a lot of new stuff happening though. I mean, it's a new thing every day. New drama, new news, new records.
So yeah, I think the format for us here going forward, and we can obviously open to feedback and ideas, but I think we're gonna do a once a week podcast on this. We're working on the Twitter, working on possibly setting up a Discord as well, depending on what kind of audience we end up getting. But we're excited just to kind of see where this goes. Again, it's first podcast for us. We've been talking about it for a while, all close friends that have known each other for 15 plus, 20 plus years. And now it's just kind of all coming together and reuniting us a little bit, and just shared interest here, just all trying to make it. Maybe that's all. We're all gonna make it.
Freedom 35ers, baby. Freedom 35ers, baby. Freedom 35ers, baby.